Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode. When her wealthy best friend's mother died, a poor girl found his mom's apple pie recipe and made him a wonderful pie. But the way he felt when he tasted it broke her heart. After the teacher left, there was more noise in the classroom. It was time for break, so Karen, who was 14, turned around and waved to Dave, who was her best friend. "Hey!" she asked him, "should we go to the cafeteria?" But Dave was thinking a lot. As he leaned on the windowsill and thought about his mother, tears filled his eyes. Karen went over and gave him a shake. "This is for you. Stand up. I can't look at you this way." Dave was too sad, though. He jumped up from his seat and ran out the door, slamming it in Karen's face. Before Dave was called to the front desk for an emergency a month ago, the two best friends were not like this. "Mr. Franklin? What's that? Did I miss anything?" Dave said this to his driver. He was worried and hoped that everything would be okay. His boss gave him a pat on the back and told him to go with the car. Dave didn't know what was going on and was anxious. He had just finished basketball practice and was on his way home. He kept asking, "What's wrong, Mr. Franklin?" But the driver kept quiet and looked worried. He was told not to tell Dave the truth until Dave himself saw it. Soon after that, Dave got to the church. It was full of people and had white chairs and flowers all around. Guests he hadn't met before stood still, wearing all black and looking sad. Dave got a red face. As he walked into the church, his crying father gave him a big hug. It turned out that Dave's mom had been in an accident that morning on her way home from a friend's house. She was taken to the hospital, but sadly, she died there. Before she died, she told her husband that she wanted her funeral to be on the same day as her own. "I don't want to be dead for a long time in front of my son and break his heart. I don't want him to see me," she told her husband in her last painful words. To honor her last wish, the funeral was held the same day she died. But Dave didn't know this. The sad death of his mother broke him apart. He begged his dad to let him have more time to mourn the death of his mom, but he refused. "Mom! Please, can I see her face?" he begged. But she was already in a closed coffin, so he didn't get to see her face one last time. His father told him it was her dying wish. Dave was so sad that he couldn't stop crying in front of a picture of his mom. As the days went by, Dave could hear a strange silence in his house. It didn't smell like his mother was cooking his favorite foods in the kitchen. "She didn't give me a kiss goodnight." The 14-year-old was scared and felt alone. Karen, his only best friend at school, was the only one who tried to make him feel better. Karen didn't have any friends when she first started school. Her peers teased her a lot because she didn't have nice clothes or shoes. But Dave was always on her side. Soon, they became close friends, which made everyone else jealous. Because Dave was rich, the kids always tried to get his attention. But the boy didn't care about anyone but Karen, the girl from a small town in his class. Dave went back to school after what happened, but he wasn't the same happy boy anyone knew. He had trouble paying attention in class, and over time, his grades went down. Karen couldn't stand to see him this way. She tried to talk to him, but he would not talk to her. Dave cut himself off from everyone else and lived with his pain. Karen was determined to help her old friend get back on his feet at this point. Later that day, after school, she ran to her grandma's house because she was planning a surprise. "Oh, Grandma," she asked her grandmother, Elizabeth, "do you still have the recipe for the apple pie you got from Dave's mom?" Once, Karen's grandmother went to Dave's house with her. And when she tried the apple pie his mom had made, she fell in love. She wrote down the tasty recipe Dave's mother gave her right away. "Oh, my! I think I put it in a drawer in my room," cried Elizabeth. Karen made an apple pie for the next couple of hours by following the recipe and mixing the materials. She knew Dave liked his mom's apple pie, and she wanted to give it to him as a treat and let him know that his mom was always with him. Karen put the pie in a box and hopped over to Dave's house with a smile on her face. But when she got there, she stopped smiling, and her heart broke. "Don't bother me right now, Karen," Dave moaned. He didn't notice that Karen was holding a box and thought she was there to play shuttle with him. She was surprised, but she knew that when she opened the box, a small miracle would happen. She said, "Okay, I'll leave, but before I do, I want you to close your eyes. Dave wanted to yell at her, but he couldn't. Instead, he made a sad face and shut his eyes. After a few seconds, tears ran down his cheeks and he covered his face in shock. Jesus Christ, this is crazy. He asked in tears, "Where did you get my mom's apple pie?" Dave felt both happiness and sadness at the same time. It had been a few weeks since Karen had seen her best friend smile. She cried with him and told him it was a recipe from his mother. He let her come in and had a piece of pie. He shouted with joy, "It tastes just like how my mom used to make it." Dave almost ate the whole pie, but he saved some for his dad so that even he could taste a copy of the great pie that his late wife used to make. Dave gave Karen a hug and cried on her shoulder as he thanked her for being kind. "Karen, you made my day. I owe you everything good in the world." Later that night, when Dave's dad, Freddie Smith, came home, he just stood there in shock. He got teary-eyed when the smell of his late wife's apple pie reached his heart and filled his nose. "I don't believe this," he cried. Dave was touched when he saw how his dad felt. He ran up to him and gave him a hug, telling him that Karen had gone above and beyond to make his life happy again. Freddie started to feel sad. He drove straight to Karen's house to say thanks. But when he got home, he was surprised and grabbed his phone. "Yes, it's on the 4th Cross Street," he told a home repairman he knew, giving Karen's address. Freddie met Karen's parents and told them how grateful he was that they had raised such a great daughter. He looked around their small, run-down house, which needed work. He called the restorer again and said, "I guess we need to make a small change to our plan. We will also fix up the inside." Freddie offered to fix up Karen's parents' house at his own cost, but Karen's parents were hesitant to take him up on it. But when he kept insisting, they gave in. "This is nothing compared to the joy your daughter brought back into my son's life," he cried. From then on, the two friends never spent a day apart. Karen made a wonderful apple pie for Dave every weekend, and they ate it a lot. Every time the boy took a whiff of the dish's smell, he felt like his late mother was with him. That's it for today, friends. Please let us know what you think about this story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon for more amazing stories.